The UN High Commissioner for Refugees, the UNHCR, estimated that last year 89.3 million people were under its or related mandate. Every single person has lost their home, their job, their friends, their family. They've run from war, from poverty, from famine and persecution. 89.3 million is hard to visualise. Let me help. If they all stood in a queue, one behind another, it would go from here at York St John's University to Sydney, Australia, over 10,000 miles away. That's a shock, isn't it? The real shock is it will continue back to York, and that's still not the end. The last person, probably from Sudan, would join somewhere near Bangkok. 26,000 miles of people all desperately needing help. And we're not done. 6,000 miles of Ukrainians have been displaced since March 2022. As a support worker with Refugee Action, I've met people from every profession, doctors, midwives and engineers. I've met world-leading physicists and women who have never had the privilege of education. I've met people from over 50 nations with many languages. I've met people without shoes, people holding their portable wealth, desperate for a friend, to feel safe and for someone to understand. On the day of the King's coronation, nearly 400 men, women and children arrived via dinghy on the Kent coast. Over 1,200 landed in Greece, over 1,000 in Italy. This is the largest and most significant humanitarian crisis this planet has ever seen. The tragedy of our age, it is suffering beyond comprehension, and it has no end, no respite, no relief. The cost is staggering. The UK spent over £750 million last year just on translation services, and another 15 million in English language classes, all for less than 0.5% of those affected by this tragedy. A declaration of human rights. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. Those that were not born here were not born into our equality. They are not equal under the arc lamps, the unloading ramps, the barbed wire fences, the Alsatians and black uniform security, and to the cries of send them back. We are all not born equal. Equality through communication, communication through equality. This is why Global Anthem was created. Global Anthem is an alternative and augmentative communication system that offers a humanitarian and empathic solution for people who have been displaced and the frontline workers who support them, as well as anyone wishing to learn a new way to communicate. It is a system of simplified hand gestures, alleviates the more acute and immediate social, health and well-being issues associated with displacement. Individuals are given the ability to communicate their feelings, circumstances and basic needs effectively, and for support workers to understand this without barriers. One of the first gestures taught is friend. Global Anthem consists of 36 easy-to-use flashcards in a self-contained pack. The cards demonstrate natural gestures with a non-specific gender, age and cultural illustration. In addition, the target word is printed in English on the front with space for it to be written in any language, and on the reverse in the 5 most common languages used by mandate persons and support agencies. A QR code linked to a video on the Global Anthem website is for when technology is available. The cards are colour-coded to green, the first words to teach, blue, the second, and orange, the third, and these represent the journey from home, across oceans, to a global anthem. Included also are the student learning sheets, which are designed to be hand traced or photocopied. a name badge and a simple lanyard, as well as a non-linguistic instruction sheet and a first aid trauma sheet. The logo and name badge is designed much like a national flag or a bat signal, and service users will know they can communicate using the gesture anywhere this is recognised. The packs are zero technology and are inspired by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. They use no plastics and are responsibly produced. The dots signify Pack 1 and further packs have been developed. For example, in partnership with the Kiev National University of Culture and Arts, who tasked me to create a pack in response to the Ukrainian refugee crisis. By securing corporate and governmental sponsors, crowdfunding, and along with grant and retail sales, will allow for the packs to be distributed nationally and internationally to frontline support workers free of charge. Corporate sponsors will be attracted by branding, and they offer to train the sponsors' staff in the global anthem system, enabling service users to recognise a friendly and safe place where they can be understood. The finished packs have a production cost of £4.50 and a retail value of £15 based on 1,000 units. As the user base expands, the production costs reduce significantly. The packs would also be available through the existing Global Anthem website, social media and online retailers, and a strong merchandise catalogue of clothing and branded goods would support this. With the support and guidance of York St John's University Centre, I have taken the first steps into creating a Global Anthem charity. Global Anthem is working with mentors to secure trademarks on the brand and cards, and this will be part of a long-term partnership. The charity, once funded, would look to employ staff to support its sales, social media, financial and administrative roles, as well as outsourcing legal and accounting. So how can we measure the impact of the Global Anthem project? It is in use now. It was in use to support over 400 new arrivals. It works. This lady is from Afghanistan. She never had the privilege of education. For 8 months she was trapped in a hotel, in isolation due to the language barrier. This is her on the 26th of October after around 2 hours of work. During the session, she air traced the words off the card, giving her a pen and a post-it note she wrote for the first time in English, possibly her first taught lesson, by copying the flashcard. By the 7th of October, after around 10 hours of tuition, she is now teaching the gestures here at York St John's University to North Yorkshire police officers. Valentina is from Ukraine and arrived here about 6 weeks ago. She has no English whatsoever and comes from the eastern part of the war zone. By the second week of working with my group, she wanted to do a selfie. The Ukrainians love selfies. I set it up and she chose 3 cards from the pile to hold up. You love me. I looked and I was a little shocked. I called over one of the Ukrainians with good English and said, can I just check and check that she understood what cards she held up? You help me, you teach me, you love me. Yes, I understand. This is how I measure impact. I have many more stories. However, the most impactful in support of the project are the people who matter. Displaced people, police officers, media, academics, volunteers, students, support workers. There are people from many nations and faiths with different skin colours, different languages and different equalities. They matter, their voice matters, and we can act towards one another in the spirit of brotherhood. I need help. 3 words that can change a life. I understand. 2 words that can change the world. This is our global anthem. Thank you.